The void was the first thing Cesare Marilini noticed. A perfect, rectangular abyss of deeper shadow on the gallery's pristine wall, where Johannes Vermeer's The Astronomer had calmly contemplated the heavens for 3 centuries. The room itself was a tomb, sealed and pristine, the air thick with the scent of lemon polish and chilled, recycled oxygen. No shattered glass, no scarred metal, no frantic alarms that had since been silenced. It was a ghost of a crime, a perfect negation. Cesare stood motionless, his sharp blue eyes absorbing the scene not as a whole, but as a collection of infinitesimal details. His eidetic memory, a curse that never allowed him to forget a face, a number, or a flaw, was now his primary tool. He replayed the museum's security schematics in his mind, the guard rotations, the pressure-sensitive flooring, all of it, untouched, uncompromised. The impossible had been achieved. His partner, Inspector Laval, grunted in frustration, the sound swallowed by the vast, hushed gallery. "A magician," Laval muttered. "He simply made it vanish." "There are no magicians," Cesare replied, his voice soft, almost a whisper. "Only men who understand perception." He moved forward, his gaze dropping from the empty wall to the polished parquet floor. He ignored the obvious, the absence, and searched for the present. And there it was. Not a smudge, not a scuff, but a single, almost invisible thread, no longer than his thumbnail, catching the low light with a subtle, antique sheen. It was a deep, resonant burgundy. He knelt, using tweezers to secure the thread into a clear evidence bag. The texture was unmistakable, pure, undyed silk, the kind hand-woven on looms a century past. His mind, that relentless cataloger, flickered back. The museum's gala 3 nights prior. A celebration of a new exhibition. Director Alastair Thorne, impeccably dressed, laughing with donors. And his tie, a splash of somber elegance against his starched white shirt, had been the exact same shade, the same rare antique silk. "It's preposterous," Alastair Thorne said, his face a mask of strained patience. He stood behind his mahogany desk, a fortress of respectability. The Vermeer's empty space loomed larger in the office than it had in the gallery, a shared, unspoken presence. You found a thread, in a building filled with textiles and a staff of hundreds. The logic is tenuous at best, Marilini. "The logic is singular," Cesare corrected, his tone devoid of accusation, merely stating fact. "The security system has a 12-second reset loop on the internal cameras for the climate control calibration, a loophole known only to senior management. The thread is from your tie, and you were the only person logged as being in the restoration wing during that window last night." Thorne's composure, a carefully constructed facade, developed a hairline fracture, a tick beneath his left eye. "I have dedicated my life to this institution. Why would I steal from it?" "That is the correct question," Cesare said, his gaze unwavering. "Not how, but why. You weren't stealing a Vermeer, you were hiding a truth." He let the words hang in the air, thick as varnish. The 1987 acquisition scandal, the forgery that nearly bankrupted this museum. It was never just a bad attribution, was it? The forger was you, a young, brilliant restorer, desperate to make his mark. Thorne sank into his leather chair, the fight draining from him. The office was so quiet they could hear the faint hum of the desktop computer. "It was a student piece," Thorne whispered, his voice stripped of its authority, revealing the frightened young man underneath. "A foolish attempt to replicate a minor Dutch master. I never thought they would actually acquire it. When they did, I was trapped. My career, my life was built on that lie. The Astronomer, it was due for its first major restoration and analysis next month. Modern spectrometry would have revealed the same pigments, the same underlying techniques I used in my forgery. The connection would have been made. 40 years of work undone. So you created a greater mystery to bury the smaller one, Cesare concluded. A masterpiece stolen by a ghost is a tragedy. A director exposed as a fraud is a farce. You chose the tragedy. The confrontation was over, replaced by a heavy, sorrowful resolution. Thorne led them to a private, climate-controlled storage vault deep within the museum's bowels. There, swathed in acid-free paper, was The Astronomer. The painting seemed smaller outside its gilded frame, yet its quiet power remained. The scholar's rapt focus, the delicate play of light from the window, the globe of the heavens. It was never about owning it, Thorne said, his hand hovering near the canvas but not touching it. It was about preserving the one thing I truly created, my reputation, my legacy. Cesare looked from the defeated man to the recovered masterpiece. He thought of the single, fragile thread that had unraveled an entire life built on a foundation of fear. The painting was a testament to truth and genius. The man, a testament to the corrosive power of a single secret. As Laval read Thorne his rights, Cesare's eyes returned to the evidence bag on the table. The burgundy thread seemed insignificant now, a footnote. Yet it had been the key. It was never the grand absence that held the truth, but the smallest, most persistent presence. In a world built on what people wanted to see, Cesare Merlini had learned to see what was actually there. And in that skill, he found neither victory nor satisfaction, only the cold, clear light of an unwelcome truth, finally brought into the open.